Hello dear students, welcome back to BioVidyalaya. I hope you all are doing very well. In our previous lecture video, we discussed about electron transport chain. So today we are going to discuss about some questions based on electron transport chain. So without further delay, let's get into today's class. Our first question is from CSIR NET June 2014. Following statements are related to oxidative phosphorylation. Statement A. Redox reaction of electron transport chain coupled with ATP synthesis are collectively called oxidative phosphorylation. Statement B. Three major processes glycolysis, oxidative pentose phosphate pathway and citric acid cycle are related to oxidative phosphorylation. Statement C. Electron transport proteins are bound to outer of the two mitochondrial membranes. Statement D. In electron transport chain, electrons are transferred to oxygen from NADH. Which one of the following combinations of above statements is correct? Option A and D. Option B, B and C. Option C, C and D. Option D, A and C. This type of questions are very easy to solve even though you are not sure about all the options. So let's see how to solve this question. So these are some statement about oxidative phosphorylation. From this statement you have to select correct statement. Okay. So let's see the first statement A. Redox reactions of electron transport chain coupled with ATP synthesis are collectively called oxidative phosphorylation. Yes, electron transport chain and chemiosmosis together known as oxidative phosphorylation. So the statement A is correct. Next statement B. Three major processes glycolysis, oxidative pentose phosphate pathway and citric acid cycle are related to oxidative phosphorylation. This statement is incorrect because pentose phosphate pathway is not a part of oxidative phosphorylation. Okay. Next is statement C. Electron transport proteins are bound to outer of the two mitochondrial membrane. This is also not correct because electron transport chain is present in inner membrane of the mitochondria. Okay. Next, statement D. In electron transport chain, electrons are transferred to oxygen from NADH. This is correct. Electrons are transferred from NADH to oxygen. Okay. So, which one of the following combinations of above statement is correct? Option A and D. Yes, both A and D are correct. So, option A is correct. Option B, B and C. Both B and C are, both statements B and C are incorrect. So, this is not correct. Option C, C and D. Statement D is correct but C is incorrect. So, option C is incorrect. Next, option D, A and C. Statement A is correct but C is incorrect. So, option D is incorrect. So, the correct answer is option A, statement A and D. Next question is from GATE 2016. When freshly isolated intact mitochondria were incubated with ADP and inorganic phosphate, neither the oxygen consumption nor the ATP synthesis could be detected. Addition of succinate resulted in increased oxygen consumption as well as ATP synthesis with time. Subsequent addition of cyanate to this system will result in which one of the following? Option A. Both oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis are inhibited. Option B. Oxygen consumption continues but ATP synthesis is inhibited. Option C. Oxygen consumption is inhibited but ATP synthesis continues. Option D. Both oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis continues. So they given that a freshly isolated mitochondria were incubated with ADP and inorganic phosphate. Then there is no consumption of oxygen and ATP synthesis. Okay. And after that they added succinate to this system and they found that there is increased oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis. Okay, and subsequent addition of cyanate to this system will result in which one of the following? So if we add cyanate to this system, then what will occur? That we have to find. We know that cyanate is an inhibitor of electron transport chain that will inhibit transport of electron from complex 4 to oxygen. Oxygen is the final electron acceptor. Okay. So if we add cyanate to this system, if we add cyanate to this system, then what will happen? Oxygen is unable to accept electron from electron transport chain. That means they are not oxygen is not able to accept electron from complex 4. Okay, so oxygen consumption is inhibited. Oxygen consumption inhibited. Okay. So if electron transport chain is blocked means proton pump will not work. If proton pump will not work means ATP synthesis will ultimately stop. ATP synthesis is inhibited. So after adding cyanate to this system, what will happen? Oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis are inhibited. So let's see the options. Option A, both oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis are inhibited. This is correct. Next, option B, oxygen consumption continues. This is not correct, but ATP synthesis inhibited. This is correct, but this option B is incorrect. Option C, oxygen consumption inhibited. This is correct, but ATP synthesis continues. This is not correct. So option C is incorrect. Next is option D, both oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis continues. So option D is also incorrect. So the correct answer is option A, both oxygen consumption and ATP synthesis are inhibited. This is the question from GATE 2011. Cyanide poisoning is due to its direct inhibition of option A, electron transport chain, option B, fatty acid biosynthesis, option C, fatty acid oxidation, option D, nucleic acid biosynthesis. We all know that cyanide is an inhibitor of electron transport chain that will block transport of electron from complex 4 to oxygen. So the correct answer is option A, electron transport chain. So this is the question from GATE 2015. This type of question is also very easy to solve. So here you have to match group 1 listing with group 2. So match the compounds in group 1 with the correct entries in group 2. Group 1 P cyanide, Q antimycin, R valinomycin, S orovertin. Group 2 1 potassium ionophore, 2 electron transfer from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1, 3 F1 subunit of ATP synthase, 4 cytochrome oxidase, 5 adenine nucleotide translocase. So here options are given. From these options you have to select the correct one. Okay. So here first P, cyanide. We know that cyanide is an inhibitor of complex 4. It will inhibit transport of electron from complex 4 to oxygen. Another name of complex 4 is cytochrome oxidase. Okay, so let's see group 2. Here cytochrome oxidase is there, so cyanate cytochrome oxidase, so P4. So let's see the option. Here P4 is here and here. Okay, next Q, antimycin. We know that antimycin is an inhibitor of complex 3. It will inhibit transfer of electron from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1. We already discussed this one in our previous lecture video. So here 2. So Q is 2. Next is, see here option Q2, this one. So now itself we are sure that option C is correct, but let's see another also. Valinomycin. Valinomycin is an ionophore that will transfer potassium ions. So it is 1. Next is orovertin. Orovertin is an inhibitor of ATP synthesis that will bind with F1 subunit of ATP synthase. So this is S3. F1 subunit of ATP synthase. P4, Q2, R1 and S3. So the correct answer is option C, P4, Q2, R1, S3. Okay. So next question, which one of the following is the correct sequence of electron transport in mitochondria? This is very easy. This is very easy question if you know how electrons are transporting in electron transport chain. Here electron transfer from NADH is given. So let's see how electrons are transferring in electron transport chain. From NADH, first it will transport to complex 1, but it is not given. Complex 1 is not given in this option, so we can avoid that. No problem. Next it will go to ubiquinone or Q, coenzyme Q. Then it will transfer to complex 3. Complex 3 means cytochrome B and C1. Cytochrome C1. Okay, this is the order. Then from 3 to cytochrome C. From cytochrome C to complex 4. Complex 4 means you have to remember cytochrome A, cytochrome A3. Okay, from 4 to oxygen. Okay, so let's see the option. Here NADH, then ubiquinone, correct. Then cytochrome B, yes, this is correct. Cytochrome C1, this is also correct. Next, this one is complex 3. Okay, next cytochrome C, this is mobile electron carrier, this one. Next cytochrome A, cytochrome A3, this one is complex 4. Okay, this is complex 4. And next is oxygen, this one is correct. Next option B, NADH. Here also complex 1 is not given, no problem. Then cytochrome A, cytochrome A3. This is complex 4 only. So option B is incorrect. Option C, NADH. Next ubiquinone, this is correct. Then cytochrome B, cytochrome A, cytochrome B, then cytochrome C1, but it is not correct. This one is complex 4, isn't it? So this is also not correct. They given cytochrome C1 here only. See. Next is option D, NADH, cytochrome B. Here ubiquinone is not given. Ubiquinone is given here in between complex 3 and 4. This is 4. So this is also not correct. So the correct answer is option A, NADH, ubiquinone, cytochrome B, cytochrome C1, cytochrome C, cytochrome A, cytochrome A3, oxygen. Okay. This question is also from GATE examination. Which statement about oxidative phosphorylation is not true? Option A, the 5 assemblies of protein and cofactors involved include the electron transferring complexes 1 to 4 and ATP synthase. Option B, the mobile carrier ubiquinone links complex 1 and 2 with complex 3 and cytochrome C links complex 3 with complex 4. Option C, for every 2 electron transferred from NADH to Q by complex 1, 2 protons are transferred to the intermembrane space. Option D, FAD, FMN, iron sulfur clusters and copper atoms are other cofactors that participate in electron transfer. So from this following statement about oxidative phosphorylation, we have to select the statement that is not true. The wrong statement we have to select. So first statement A, the 5 assemblies of proteins and cofactors involved include electron transferring complexes 1 to 4 and ATP synthase. So in oxidative phosphorylation, 5 assemblies of proteins and cofactors are involved, that is including electron transferring complex, that means electron transporting proteins, complex 1, complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4 and ATP synthase. Yes, this is correct. Next is B, the mobile carrier ubiquinone links complex 1 and complex 2. Yes, this is correct. Ubiquinone is linking complex 1 and complex 2 to complex 3. Next, cytochrome C links complex 3 with complex 4. That is also correct. From complex 3, electron will move to cytochrome C. From cytochrome C, that will move to complex 4. This is also true. So this statement is correct. And next, C, for every 2 electron transfer from NADH to ubiquinone by complex 1, 2 protons are transferred to the intermembrane space. This is not correct. For every 2 electron, 4 protons are transferred to intermembrane space. So this is not correct. This statement is not true. Next, option D, FAD, FMN, iron sulfur clusters and copper atoms are other cofactors that participate in electron transfer. Yes, this is also correct. We already discussed in our previous lecture video. If you didn't watch that video, the link is given in the below description. So this statement is also correct. We have to find the statement that is not true. So which one is not true? Option C. So the correct answer is option C. Next question, amobarbital is an inhibitor of which complex? Option A, complex 1, option B, complex 4, option C, complex 3, option D, complex 2. Amobarbital, that means amital. This is an inhibitor of complex 1. So the correct answer is option A, complex 1. This question is also one direct question. What do inhibitors of complex 3 do? Option A, blocks the transfer of reducing equivalents from FES to ubiquinone. Option B, prevent transfer of electrons from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1. Option C, prevents transfer of electrons from cytochrome AA3 to molecular oxygen. Option D, electron transport chain takes place but inhibits phosphorylation. We all know that complex 3 means cytochrome B, cytochrome C1. So, inhibitor of complex 3, antimycin, that will inhibit transfer of electron from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1. We already discussed many times. So, correct answer is option B, prevent transfer of electrons from cytochrome B to cytochrome C1. This is the last question. Which complex of the electron transport chain in cellular respiration does not directly impact the intermembrane space pH? Options are option A complex 2, option B complex 1, option C complex 4, option D complex 3. So here intermembrane space pH means concentration of H plus in intermembrane space. Okay. So here which complex of the electron transport chain does not directly impact, that means does not directly changing the intermembrane space H plus ion concentration, that means pH. Okay. So literally what is it meaning? Which complex is not pumping protons to intermembrane space? We all know that complex 2, that means succinate dehydrogenase, that is not pumping any protons to intermembrane space. So the answer is complex 2, option A. So here I am winding up this video. If you like this video and find it helpful, then please click the like button, share this video with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe this channel. Keep learning. Thank you.